In today's video here, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern, and I think the biggest point that I need to make here about this particular video is that we are going to be transitioning from one of the weirdest patterns here in the East that I have ever encountered. Very cold for this time of year, maybe even historically cold for some, and very inactive, okay? For most folks, it has been pretty quiet here in the Ohio Valley and portions of the Mid-Atlantic, especially there. Those are the two areas in specific. We expect a massive flip in both of these departments. So we're going to see throughout this video more major storms at that moving into these areas. And not only that, we're going to see a shift from the very cold temperatures to warm to even far above average temperatures. So a massive flip in big ways. It's going to feel very dramatic because it is just a massive shift from what we have been seeing. And it is going to feel quite drastic, like I mentioned. As we reach towards just this afternoon, we can see already we actually see quite a bit of some storms developing throughout a lot of the southeast and the northeast. So we're beginning to see the shift already from day one here on this model run. It's by Wednesday especially, we actually get a pretty substantial event taking place here over the Mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley. So we see a lot of these areas that have been quieter, seeing some of that storminess, which is again pretty substantial to see these areas just after the weeks of quiet conditions. And then we see things really build in along this kind of mid-Atlantic and southeast coast here overnight. So Wednesday evening, that's going to be tomorrow, into the day after on Thursday the 8th, we're going to be seeing a pretty big shift in this. By Thursday afternoon, we still see some lingering thunderstorms all up and down the east coast here. So again, a pretty big flip in what we've been seeing, where these areas have been quiet. They're actively seeing pretty much the most consistent precipitation. By the time we're reaching Friday, same thing. I mean, look at it. We have precipitation up and down this northeast coast here. Also, we can see for the Rockies and the Plains here, plenty of thunderstorms taking place for a lot of these areas as well. And then Florida, that's going to become a daily occurrence here. If you live there, you know that, you understand it. We traveled, that is me and my girlfriend, by the way, in September to Florida, and that's like the heart of the storm season. It was the most humid and hot weather I've ever experienced. But not only that, all 7 days that we were in Florida, it thunderstormed every single day. It was like a weatherman's dream. It wasn't dangerous weather, it was just sudden downpours and a rainbow at one point. Actually, a double rainbow is absolutely stunning. But Florida weather is like that. It's very hot, very humid, very sunny, and then those thunderstorms roll in every single afternoon and evening. It is unlike weather anywhere else, basically, in the United States, and I love it for a week at least, maybe not my whole life. But as you can see, by the time we're reaching Saturday, the 10th here, we can see, again, Florida. Don't want to reiterate that too much, but the Northeast has also been seeing quite a bit of persistent precipitation. And just like that, we actually reach a little bit of a quieter period here for this area that has been the quietest over the last couple of weeks. But rest assured, in a second, we'll see something moving in. Sunday, we can already see it taking place, a low over Indiana here with some storminess to the north and to the west there of that low. And as we could see, by the time we're reaching kind of Sunday to Monday timeframe, what we end up seeing is this low develops actually into a pretty strong low, and we see a bit of a cold front here with just really surging, warm, humid, stormy air moving up northward here. Pretty significant, to say the least. We're seeing plenty of this taking place, and honestly, this storm looks quite intense. So that's Monday into Tuesday. And then even by Tuesday day, it's still bringing impacts to the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic in more indirect ways. More direct here, but less for the Mid-Atlantic. And rising up to the northeast is this main area of storminess associated with this low by Tuesday afternoon. And then by Wednesday, it's still bringing impacts to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here. So you can tell that we went from 0 days of seeing storminess to actually day over day over day seeing pretty consistent storminess here. Now by Thursday, the 15th here, that evening, we still see some scattered and isolated thunderstorms in here. Certainly going to be something to pay attention to. Also, we've been kind of ignoring it because it's been the focal point for our entire past couple of weeks, because it's been the only thing going on outside of some tropical activity, of course. we can see that we see consistent precipitation in this area I circled day after day after day. We continue to see that activity, but it actually looks more active during this kind of 6th through 10th time frame, and then looks to die down from the 10th through the 11th. As you can see, it's a little less active. There is some stuff going on in there, but it's not as filled out. So a little bit quieting down, but still one of the more active areas in the nation for sure. As we take a look here at this total precipitation, we can tell by the totals that this activity isn't completely gone because we see pretty high totals in there. But look at the east. I mean, we have actually pretty high totals out here as well, indicative of very active thunderstorm pattern here in June finally taking place. I am working on a secret project. I don't know if I'm ever going to share this or sell it, or if it's just going to be a personal thing. I don't really know at this point. But I am working on like a spreadsheet that basically, well, it's actually Apple, I think it's called like Apple Numbers or whatever. Yeah, Apple Numbers. It's on my Mac, but I'm working on kind of some graphs and charts for charting the weather. And I have been this entire year charting my local weather here. And I think we've had a whopping 5 total thunderstorms this entire year here in Southeast Virginia, an area that averages, I think, like 30 to 40, maybe even 50 thunderstorms a year. We've seen 5, and we're at the halfway mark of the year, basically. So stunningly quiet here, very boring. We haven't had much thunderstorm activity, just a couple of thunderstorm days, and I think 2 of them were in January, so you can go ahead and say that it's been 3 through the spring and summer. Absolutely insane. Let me know in the comments if you guys have been dealing with some very quiet, as far as thunderstorms are concerned, weather this year, if it's been more active, especially if you're near the east, or at least near me, because I would be curious if it's been similar or just non-existent. I obviously love thunderstorms. I love all weather, but I don't cheer for dangerous weather, but I am cheering for harmless thunderstorms for sure. That are very exciting to me, and I hope this brings me a couple of those at least. Now, as far as snowfall, well, and we need the precipitation, so it's kind of helpful in general. As far as the snowfall, we could tell by the Rockies that we have a couple of inches still expected. This area is becoming more and more isolated, but the Sierra Nevadas still expect 10 to maybe 15 inches there for the mountaintops, but it's very, very small area. Winter is definitely dying down here. By the time we take a look at this temperature pattern here, we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to see ourselves move from a very, very cool pattern quickly into a warmer pattern. We can tell that already by the beginning of the model run, we have cooler conditions. This week, we're going to see a little bit more of a backdoor cold front, and what I mean by that is it's coming kind of from northeast to southwest. It's kind of just trickling in this way. We see a lot of warmth up here, which can be kind of called a positive PNA. It's not classic. It's not taking up the entire west, and there is some negative temperatures down here as well. So we'll probably see on the chart that we have a neutral PNA, but I think this is enough to cause this cold to really be able to fill in for the east. Now, I want to see what happens over time. We see that we get another cold front by kind of early next week with that low that I was talking about. And this is a pretty substantial little Arctic blast, actually, as you can see, 10 to 15 degrees below normal. So another significant cold blast on the way for early next week, somewhere between the 10th and the 14th. There's when we expect that cooler air to be taking place. But as we continue on, as you can see, what we see happen is this negative PNA sets up. We see cooler temperatures up and down the west coast, and quickly this encourages warmth to surge in for the east. Also, humidity, the warmth, the sunniness all combines to bring higher CAPE, which stands for convective available potential energy for these areas. And that is why the thunderstorm activity picks back up, and we see day after day thunderstorms being possible for a lot of these areas. So it all just quickly catapults us. Only this negative PNA is like the sole cause here. And we see it catapult us into hot, humid, stormy weather, which is all 3 things that we have not had in weeks. So it's crazy how one teleconnection can change everything. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. Everything changes. We still see some cooler temperatures along the east here. I think this is due to a lot of storminess in this area, but it's more like neutral, maybe 1 degree below normal here. So it's going to be very close to your average. But overall, we see warmth here for the east of Canada and for the United States. And overall, we see some cooler temperatures here for the west of the United States. And this is going to keep encouraging this warmth here in the east for at least the time being, as you can see, through June 21st, apparently, what we're seeing here on this European ensemble model. So warmer, more humid, more stormy weather on the way after we've had a very April-like beginning to June for most folks. So it's been very strange, very odd, but we're going to move a lot closer to normalcy in a very quick way. It's going to feel dramatic. And it probably will be a very dramatic shift. So that is what we're anticipating at this point. Be sure to tune in with us daily. We will kind of keep you guys updated with this pattern, and we're going to continue to roll through it day after day. So be sure to subscribe for that. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Also, be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.